Okie doke. So I'm going to kick off the Introduction to Judging seminar. This is my first year doing this, so bear with me. But we will get through this together. So by the way, I am Callie Carbajal. I am the new judging coordinator and regional judge advisor for Central Valley Robotics. See, so what is First LEGO League judging? What this does, it's a subjective route that allows teams to present what they've learned throughout a season. Ooh, right forward too many. Okay, so it allows judges to give feedback to the teams, and it creates a consistent way that across all events during our season for judges to gain information and give out the awards, because our judging process is subjective. All judges are put through training, and this is how they interact with teams. So judging sessions at a qualifying event are going to be 10 minutes each, and there are 3 of them. There's a project judging session, a core values judging session, and a robot design judging session. They're each a little bit different. So project has a 5-minute presentation, and then a 5-minute session of question and answer where the coaches will interact with the team members and the team members only, and to glean more information. In core values judging, there is a 5-minute teamwork activity, and this judging session, you won't have anything to bring or present. Your kids are given a challenge, and then they show how well they can demonstrate their core values and how they can work together. Then in the robot design judging session, that is pretty much just 10 minutes of question and answer. The judges there will already have background technical knowledge. They'll be knowing what they're looking for already, and the kids can run missions that they pick. The judges will ask questions about, you might want to bring your programming, about what things do, and they just want to learn about the robot that the kids have designed. So at all of our qualifying events and our championship, we do judging blocks. So your team will hit all 3 judging sessions in I think it's like a 45-minute time block, don't quote me on that, but it's like a block of time where you won't have robot game matches. You will just do judging. So once you're done with that judging, that's all you're judging for the day, and you can keep on doing robot performance. So I kind of already went over it a little bit, but let's dive a tad bit deeper. So the project focuses solely on the research component. So the goal is to examine the quality of the research, the level of innovation, and examine the depth of sharing. So your kids have to identify a problem, design a solution, and share it. And this judging session, it's really important that the kids explain that they've done all of that they did identify a solution, identify a problem, create a solution, and that they have shared that solution with the public, with the people that solution will affect. They need to share before the event day. That is key. The core values, again, I kind of already explained, based around a teamwork activity, focuses on the implementation. So at every event, it's going to be something different. We kind of leave that up to the tournament partners. They kind of get to pick. But all teams will go through the same activity on the event day. And then robot design, there will be, that's important, I can't believe I forgot that, there will be a robot game table in the session, and that they can run missions on and kind of demonstrate to the judges how the robots work. Often, I would recommend bring printouts of your programming. You could bring a laptop, but oftentimes the judges might want to keep the programming and to look at it later. So animal allies for First LEGO League, they have to identify a problem, so your team will pick a solution in which people and animals interact. They're going to design a solution. I already talked about that. This is something key. I get asked about this a lot. You don't have to design a completely unique, never been done before solution. If you could utilize something that already exists in a new, innovative way, you could think of something, or your kids could think of something totally new, or improving, using something that exists and inventing something totally new. So your kids can take that as they will. It gives a little bit of freedom. And then again, I'm going to keep on stressing this. Please share the project. That is not to be underestimated. And it will not count if your team attempts to share on the event day. It must be done before. So already, the challenge hasn't been out that long, and there are project challenge updates, 3 of them so far, and I'll go over what they are and kind of what they entail for our region. So the first one is the definition of animal kingdom. So you're not going to be doing, technically what people are animals, but this challenge is not to analyze people-to-people interactions. It is people to the members of the scientific animal kingdom that are currently alive today. So it's not going to be dinosaurs, it's going to be they're currently alive, that they can be interacting with today. And then the definition of interact has already been clarified. The kids need to pick a situation in which animals and teams interact. However, the kids do not have to interact with an animal during their research. They need to research the interaction. They do not technically have to interact with the animal themselves, for safety reasons. And interact doesn't necessarily mean touching the animal. Again, it could be feeding the animal, things to that extent. It doesn't have to actually be when they touch. Third one is live animals. First, put out a disclaimer on this that, the events might not want animals. I'm telling you right now, at all the Central Valley Robotics events, we will not allow animals on site, of course, unless they are service animals and compliant in that regard. So please don't be bringing the animals you did research on, nothing live. There will be probably an event this year that has a petting zoo, but that is done by the tournament partners. There are experts there. We request teams do not bring their animals onto campus. I've got some important project reminders. This is probably the maybe 4th time I've mentioned most of these things, but they are just that important, especially if this is your first time doing the judging process with Central Valley Robotics. Identify a problem, explain the innovative solution, and share with others. What good is a solution if you don't share it with anyone? And also, first sometimes recommends that you share it with the people that it directly affects, like, hey, we have a solution for you. Here it is. Presentation requirements, all teams must present live. There might be media equipment available, maybe not. That's not something right now I can guarantee. A lot of teams will do skits, bring poster boards, do a song, dance. However your team feels about that, they can present that information. Needs to include all the team members. And the presentation must be set up, so including setup, and completed in 5 minutes. I recommend please don't go over that 5 minutes because the judges often get really good information with the question and answer session at those 5 minutes at the end. So your kids might not have explained everything the judges want to know, so the judges want your teams to succeed, so they'll ask specific questions to glean information out of your kids, so let them have that 5 minutes. I'm going to glance over right now the judging rubrics with you all. Judging rubrics are what the judges will use to guide the judging sessions along and kind of make notes so that when they go into judging deliberations, they remember how your teams have done. Now again, judging is subjective. There's not a numerical point system. They're not counting anything like that. But these are just how judges, what they'll be looking for in each judging session. These are on our website. I'm not going to waste all of our time with a deep dive because you guys can print these and read these off of our website, but this is the core values judging rubric. It is red. Project is yellow. And then robot design is blue. Again, I want to leave some time for question and answer, so check those out on our website. Those are on there. They're updated for the 2016 season. And then judging philosophy. I've gone over this a little bit. Again, people always ask, is there a scoring metric? How do we know how we've done? We do return the rubrics that the judges have written their comments on back to teams. But besides, you get the information that judges will communicate to the kids during the judging session, and then you get your rubrics back. But anything else in judging deliberations will not be shared outside of the judge delib room. So you get what's on the rubrics, so it's subjective, and then based on, again, the observations and deliberations of the judges. We'll go over the delib process. There are quite a few steps. So the first one we've been talking about this whole time, judging sessions and room rankings. So judges will go through and have judging sessions, interact with all the teams, and throughout the day, they will be ranking the teams. Now that's not something anyone sees, that is not public, that stays in their room. They rank all the teams that they see. And then when we all go over into judge delib, those judge room rankings are put into a maybe Excel spreadsheet given to us by FIRST called Judging Light. And it will be sorted by overall ranking. It's kind of like a rank summation or like a golf score, because 1 through 12 typically teams. So, if they're ranked 1, 1, 1 in each judging session, which usually doesn't happen, but it could, they would have a rank of 3, and that's just how we kind of do it by golf or rank summation. Step 3, we start kind of delib after we put those room rankings into the judging software, Judging Light. We start by picking the Champions Award teams, and we discuss, because again, it's all subjective, so just because how the golf score was doesn't mean that that's how we have to assign awards. So we pick the champions teams, typically from the top teams. The judges have a discussion. And then after that, after we've picked the Champions Award winners, we break out into the areas, so project, core values, robot design. They discuss their teams, and they get to pick their recommendations for the awards in each of their judging areas. Then we reconvene. Step 5, we regroup and assign the area awards. Again, like sometimes, project and core values might have picked the same team. So the judges have to duel it out and see which award is best for each team. We assign the area awards. And then at the very end, we finalize all the award assignments, get everything the A-OK, that everyone was not swamped by, that everyone's good. We discuss the judges' awards, and those, you might have heard, are just awards that judges get to pick that there might not have been an award category that they felt was appropriate for a team, but they can definitely assign them a judge's award. And then right here I have a little green bullet point. It says, project judges discuss who gets the nomination for the Global Innovation Award. I will cover that in a later slide, so we'll come back to that. We'll laugh if it's even next. The very last step, we finalized all the awards. They are locked in. We will determine the advancing to championship teams. So with our pilot this year, advancement pilot, which again, that's a different slide, I'll go over that, don't worry. The top 75% of teams in the robot game or the robot performance area are eligible to move on. I'm not saying all 75% get to move on, but that's the hurdle. So then judges go through and decide who they think should be the teams that deserve to advance to the championship. Global Innovation Award next. So Michael Adam during the keynote kind of already went over what the Global Innovation Award is. It's designed to encourage and assist teams with their innovative solutions, because that's something FIRST is trying to really push with their robotics programs, is innovative solutions. That's going to be the future. So teams, this is not something separate. Your team does not have to do anything extra on top of the typical FIRST LEGO League program. They are solely judged on the research project. This has nothing to do with their robot. I don't want to say nothing to do with the core values, because I hope that teams always have good core values, as they do everything. But it is just research project. And at the qualifying level, there will not be anything separate. You will just do the regular judging sessions, and during DLib, the project judges will use the innovative solution criteria on the rubric, which you can find online, to decide which team had the most innovative solution. And that team will be the, depending on the qualifier size, 1 to 2 teams, and those teams will be the Global Innovation Award qualifier nominee for our area. Perfect. So, and I want to clarify, I'm not sure, let me see if I have it later on the slide. Here we go, I do. Perfect. So, if a Global Innovation Award qualifier nominee advances to the championship with the standard advancement criteria, they will participate in the regular championship event day, plus an additional 4th Global Innovation Award judging session that is separate from the rest of judging. If a Global Innovation Award qualifier nominee did not advance with the standard advancement criteria at a qualifier, they will still go to the championship, but they will not participate in the event day per se. They will just solely do that 4th judging session for the Global Innovation Award, plus any Global Innovation Award qualifier nominee teams. We will place them in the pits. They will be in an innovation row, and they kind of, get to display their projects, and it's an area where teams can walk by, or parents, participants, and see what made these solutions so innovative and so special. Last thing, judge's choice. Innovative. I think that bullet right there should actually be for the advancement pilot, and I will get to that. We'll talk about judge's choice if it's like, what is that? That is not have anything to do with the Global Innovation Award. Go Callie. But new advancement policy next. So Michael already introduced it. Again, teams must be in the top 75% of teams. It's a frozen hurdle. It will not be floating anymore. We will announce what the hurdle is before the event day. And say if it's a 24-team event, the hurdle will be set from the 24 teams. And that will not be changing on you guys. We'll announce that before an event. For the Champions Award, however, the most prestigious award a team can win at a qualifier, that will still be based, those teams must still be in the top 40% of robot game rankings. So now we're on the judge's choice. So this is kind of the different portion of what we're piloting, the judge's choice. So that will be, they still have to be in the top 75% of teams, but judges can kind of pick, besides the 75%, whatever criteria they want to allow that team to advance to the championship. So they could just be the next one on the list of teams. Could be that. It could be kind of like a rising star. Whatever they want, a strong performance in judging, rising star. Again, it's judge's choice. They literally can pick on whatever criteria they want as long as they're still in the top 75% of teams. And then something important is that we will not be, during closing ceremonies, it will not be announced, and the judge's choice team is. That will not be happening. We will not specify. We're just going to announce the advancing to championship teams, and that's it. However, after closing ceremonies, the judge advisor for the event, could be me, could be someone else, will make a strong attempt to find the coaches of that judge's choice team and explain to them that they got judge's choice. And this is what I like about judge's choice and why I want to contact those coaches after the event, is that you're a judge's choice team because the judges saw an area for you to improve in. And that team could be a top team if they improve in that certain areas. That we picked them for these teams, they might have lacked a little bit somewhere. Make that better before the championship and you'll do great. Well, if we don't give you feedback that you were the judge's choice, there was kind of no use to give the judge's choice in the first place, in my opinion. So we will be making a good attempt to contact that team after closing ceremonies. If not, we'll be trying to get in contact with that team via email. But if you kind of, maybe wait around a little bit so that one of us can try and find you and let you know where you can improve, or your team can improve. Ooh, I ran through that very quickly. I did not expect that. So does anyone have any questions and answers? I can trust me, I can keep rambling at everyone, or maybe I can open it up to the audience and you guys can just start asking questions if you'd like. I know that was a lot of information. Judging is a very important part of the first LEGO League experience. So, does anyone have any questions? Anything, nothing, there's no bad questions. Should I just? Okay, perfect. I'll repeat your question. Michael is fixing the microphone right now, and he will be able to answer them a little bit better than I will.
So, this mic's a bit louder. So we advanced 60 teams to championship. Our advancement percentage will be dictated by the number of teams that participate this fall. So if we have 100 teams participate, we'll be advancing 60% type of thing. So we really don't know where we fall just yet until the end of September, October, when we actually have all of our numbers start to settle. I think last year our advancement rate was like 50%. I remember like our 36 team events, we advanced like 12 or 16 teams. So I would expect it to be high because we have a, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 because we have such a big championship, kind of unique to our region. So we'll be announcing that online and stuff as we get closer and we know more about that info.
Yeah, we tend to be a region that advances a fair amount of teams just because in regard to the size of our region, we do hold that fairly large championship. So it's usually a pretty big amount.
So I will say that there was a lot of things involved in that situation. We worked on it with FIRST. We now have a better understanding of what the actual what we're supposed to get out of our rules. The interpretations are right. That's being cascaded down to our judges. Our judge advisors now know what to do, and we have a much better improved process to prevent that in the future.
So, if a judge sees that happening, they know exactly, we have things in place or how they should escalate something so that that could be avoided in the future.
We learned new things too about what's allowed and what's not, and from FIRST over that December. So there's a lot more freedoms and a lot more, and it should hopefully not happen again.
Yes, so each team will attend a single qualifying event. No more than that, you can't go to multiple. A single qualifying event, and then if they advance to the championship, they advance. But you can pick from any of those. It's across, there's 4 weekends. As of right now, there's 4 weekends, and 6 events. And then you can kind of pick. I think sometimes the Visalia one is like locked down so that those South Valley teams, can register for that one. We don't want all the Fresno teams going, and then those Visalia teams are like, we have to drive how far? So sometimes that one's locked in the beginning, but essentially you can pick whichever one.
The districting and stuff will all be announced prior to event registration for all those details. We've never had a qualifier cancel. That's never happened to us, and hopefully that never happens.
Yeah.
The December one, the Fresno State event is kind of our I would say most at risk right now, but we should hopefully have everything locked down by October and have everything finalized. And we should hope we improved. We were kind of caught off guard with some things last year, which is why that expo got canceled. We don't plan on canceling an expo again.
Yes. We announced our championship location, right?
Yeah, so the championship is held right here.
Where you're at right now. So it will be on this campus.
It's going to be a little bit of a mix because we're involving the Buchanan High School campus as well this year. We're planning on splitting the pits across 2 MPRs, so it'll be this entire
So it'll kind of be this whole complex. So it'll bleed into Buchanan a little bit. Typically, some coaches might know it is just Alta Sierra. We'll bleed a little bit into Buchanan, but typically right on this campus. And our championship is 60 teams this year, correct?
We set our championship at 60, and then our advancement rate comes from that.
It's giant. No problem. Anything else? Fire away. I'm captive. I will make a fair attempt. So I wish I should have thrown up the First League core values on a slide. I did not do that. But there are a set of core values you can find on our website, on First website, but they're on ours. They're pretty clean. So we expect teams to use core values in every aspect of their life. What's often really touching, I think I'm out of the camera frame. What's really touching to judges oftentimes is when kids bring the core values outside of First Lego League. We love for everyone to use them in First Lego League, but also when they're used outside of it, just in daily life. In the judging session, there will be a teamwork activity. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Destination Imagination, but it's kind of similar to the instant challenge. So the kids, you can't prepare for this necessarily. You don't really know what's going to happen. They walk in and are expected to get together, work as a team to solve the problem that the judges present them. For preparation, what I recommend is that before the event day, that your team, during your team meetings, to do some of those teamwork activities or instant challenges. You can search them up online again. You can look at the Destination Imagination instant challenges, think of some things, kind of teach them how to work together. And what judges are kind of looking for are for teams who excel with they're kind to each other when they work together, that they work together in a kind and calm way to solve a problem efficiently. Now, what is not important in this session is to finish the challenge. I mean, they can, that's great. I'm not saying don't finish it, but that's not the point. The point is not to finish. The point is to demonstrate how your students work together, that they treat each other well, that all of them incorporate themselves into solving the problem, and that could be with just working together as equals. Your team might have kind of a de facto leader that kind of riles everyone together and knows everyone's strengths. So kind of play that to your team, but I would recommend just kind of finding some instant challenges like that, teamwork activities, and maybe every practice, every couple practices, just keep doing them and give them feedback. We don't see them yelling at each other or angry, screaming, right? That, work them through that, how they can work together, I would say. Hope that helped. I got a little bit rambly, but I hope that helps. Anyone else? Again, I think we have until 10 in here? Went a little bit quickly. And if you guys have project questions, rubric questions, anything else on, deliberations, or especially the new advancement policy or the Global Innovation Award. I know sometimes I explain that Global Innovation Award stuff and it gets kind of overwhelming, but it should be hopefully simple. Can you think of anything? Did I leave anything out per chance? Oh, yes.
So in the challenge guide, you'll see something called the Robot Design Executive Summary and the Core Values poster. We don't implement either of those in our region, so you don't have to worry about them. It's going to be primarily a Q&A session. So yes, kids will walk in, the judges will start interacting, introduce, and at some point they will ask them to demonstrate.
So and the robot design judges kind of all run it how they want it. It's not of all the judging session, I would say that maybe is the most, informal. They come in, your kids don't have to have like a presentation, set from the get-go. No, they can. I'm not saying they don't. Your kids might want to walk in and like, this is our A game. We want to show you exactly what this is, bam. The judges aren't, I would hope that they would not stop. I recommend that they just let the kids do what they want. Definitely, I would expect to be running missions. You're probably going to be expected to do that. But it's kind of informal. The judges will try and guide your kids through that. And if your kids don't, walk in and they're like, we're going to do these missions, they'll try and guide them through that and be like, all right, can you show us a mission? How does that work? And as the team runs the mission, the judges will still be asking questions to the other team members that might not be actively running the mission. So it's going to constantly be a Q&A, even when a mission is running. There are no bad questions.
And if you guys think of anything else during the season, contact at cvrobotics.org. That email at the bottom of the flyers you got this morning. Don't hesitate to contact us with any questions. We'll clarify what we can, help wherever we can.
If it's something we can't answer, we won't answer it, so you might as well ask. Yeah, we'll be here all season. And I'll be here all day. If you guys think of something, if you're glancing over the project, need any clarifications, or just have any questions after this, I'll be around, and I don't know how long this thing is going, but I'll be here. No, that is the robot performance hurdle to be eligible to advance to the championship. So if you are not in the top 75% of teams based off of the robot game or the robot performance score, you will not be eligible to advance to the championship. That said, we do tend to have pretty big advancing percentages, like 55%, 60%. A lot of regions don't have that. We do have a pretty big advancement, but we have to see how many teams we'll have by the end of the season.
Yeah, so that 75% creates a pool of teams that the judges pick from to advance. During closing ceremonies, yes, at the end of the day.
We'll announce it. So after we, give out all the awards, it'll kind of be a big, little thing, and everyone will be sitting there, and we'll announce which teams make it. And again, judge's choice. Don't run out on me. You might have a judge advisor trying to find you so that we can tell you you're a judge's choice team, because that will not be announced.
Do I understand correctly that in the Global Innovation Award, maybe the Judge's Choice Award would be teams that didn't qualify in the top 75%?
So judge's choice teams must be in the top 75% of the robot game scores to to advance. So judge's choice does have to be in the top 75%. The Global Innovation Award, there is no bearing on that. It does not matter how the robot did at all, which is why we're bringing it down to the qualifier level, because before we just did it at the championship, so you had to advance to the championship to be able to be judged on your team's innovative solution. We didn't think that was quite fair, because your team may have struggled with their robot a little bit, but they might have had an incredible innovative solution. So we're bringing it down to the qualifier. Now, you would still say a team that didn't make it with the standard advancement criteria that you can find in the Season Standards Manual, but they're still coming to be judged on their Global Innovation Award. They still get to be part of Innovation Row. They don't get to compete in the event day, but you kind of still get to go to the championship. Yeah, and for the showcase, and at the championship, those judges, that panel of judges, and that judging session will kind of be like an interview. That's kind of going to be like a Q&A session. You don't necessarily have to come in with the whole presentation and whatnot. You guys have kind of already gone through that hurdle. Now you could. I mean, this is our first year kind of doing it this way, so if your team wants to come in and do that, but we recommend a Q&A.
I guess I will add that once we get that panel decided, they might decide how they want to run that session.
Yeah.
And we'll put that information out to those teams when it's available.
Yeah, I'll communicate. We haven't created that panel yet.
And that applies exclusively to the championship. There is no separate judging session for the qualifiers.
Yes. And then the Global Innovation Award winners, we'll announce those that are the Global Innovation Award qualifier nominees will be announced at closing ceremonies. So that will be a big thing as well. So they may advance with the standard advancement criteria, they may not, nothing else has a bearing on it. It will be announced at the closing ceremonies at a qualifier, unlike Judge's Choice. And then at the Central California Championship, we will be announcing the Global Innovation Award regional nominee. So many words. Global Innovation Award regional nominee who, and again, that is not a ticket necessarily to a world championship. That the Global Innovation Award stuff is kind of run separately from the normal event day.
Yeah, so it turns into an online judging session, and if you make it through the rounds, you'll be invited out to the East Coast where they have the final rounds of judging and then the award presentation.
Is that like the U.S. Patent Office or something?
It's in Washington, D.C., I think.
Yeah. It is solely based off of the research project. There is no extra work a team has to do, nothing else. There's no other category. It is the innovative solution criteria on the project rubric, and that's all they'll be based off of. A robot game. Keep core values, of course. But. So the average size for a qualifier, I would say, is 24, but they might be different sizes.
So that's going to come into play when we know our final numbers. We will be capping our qualifiers. All of them except the Visalia one are currently set for 24. The Visalia one's a 36. Once we get our final totals, we'll set all the numbers and open registration. So we'll know more. They won't be any larger than those numbers, but they might be smaller depending on our totals in the region.
And I think what we kind of decided was, correct me if I'm wrong, that every 24 teams will be one Global Innovation Award qualifier nominee, and then as soon as qualifiers go over 24,
we'll see.
It'll be a second one.
It depends on our final totals.
Again, yeah, we're not sure.
For regular advancement or the Global Innovation Award? So yeah, so there'll be a set percentage, and we'll apply that to all the qualifiers. So they'll all advance the same percentage of teams to the championship.
It's going to be fair across all of them, and we release that to the public as soon as we can when it's all locked.
That'll be posted on each event's webpage. The hurdle ranking number and the number of advancing teams.
And what's important is, I'll just reiterate this because we have time, that for the Champions Award, which is the most prestigious award a First League League team can win at a qualifier, and there's the ones at the championship as well. We do one at each qualifier. Is it one or two? One? Champions Award winner?
Depends on the event size.
Depends on the event size. And then 3 at the championship. 1, 2, 3. To be eligible for those awards, it still your team still needs to be in the top 40% of the robot game scores. So that's not affected by the advancement pilot. About 10 minutes left. Yes, yeah. We went over they might advance standard advancement, they might not, the differences between that. And also, I believe we're putting all of these slides online, right? So they'll have access.
So we're recording everything. We're going to see how that goes out, and we'll put all the slide decks up as well.
Perfect.
And then we have some people taking notes in the back, too, that we'll transcribe and have up as well.
Yeah, so we'll type up notes, put those online, too, if you guys want to, if there's things maybe I said that aren't on a slide. I don't know if there are. But if there are, we have note takers. Anything else? Again, I'll be here all day. If you find a staff member and need to find me, tell them to find Callie. Or if you have a judging question, hopefully they will come to me. And find me here all day. Anyone else? I think we're good.
So we can go ahead and end this early. I think the coach's Q&A is still open for the next 10 minutes. So if you guys wanted to head over there and listen in for the last 10 minutes, you're welcome to. And then we will move to the project, or the project expert session in the gymnasium after this at 10 o'clock, or 10:10 rather. And then I have my online tools workshop in here at 10:10 as well. So thank you all, and
Perfect. Thank you all.
enjoy the rest of the day.